Roland With Me is a YouTube channel dedicated to exposing the dark secrets of the paranormal world. He has been motivated to do this by a haunting that happened to him many years ago, and he documented this very first haunting as a YouTube video. Roland explained that the events that occurred were so creepy that even he couldn't cope anymore and had to leave the house that it all happened in the past. After watching some of these clips, you won't blame him for his decision. They all took place during the first coronavirus lockdown during 2020, which made things even less easier for the victim, Roland. This first piece of footage took place in the kitchen during the morning and was very abnormal compared to other poltergeist activities we've discussed.
I turned on this camera because I heard a bang in here, and I already just saw a chair knocked over in the other room. Is there someone in here? Is there a reason why my camera is shutting off? Are you turning off my camera? Is there someone in here, a spirit that does not want me to record them on camera? If you're in my house, I'm going to record you. You're moving the chairs. Is this correct? I see a whole lot of chairs moving. Is there a reason for this?
Now, self-moving objects are a regular occurrence in ghost sightings, but this one had something very unique going for it. Somehow, all of the chairs moved at the exact same time, leading me to believe that there were multiple spirits in the room at the time of this recording. Very, very weird. Little did Roland know, though, that this was only the beginning of this horrible torment. A few years back, he had purchased a Ouija board since he was always fantasized by ghosts and loved to research them. However, after a few months of owning the board, he threw it into the trash and smashed it to pieces after not catching anything and deciding that it was a heap of junk. Almost magically, a new board appeared in the house, but just as fast, it vanished, and in the next piece of footage, it made another appearance, except not the full item.
I'm just gonna put the scissors down in the basement. That way they don't end up flying anywhere and end up finding its way to my head or something. I already had a chair hit my head. I just heard something again. All right. Is this something? Okay. What? There's no way. I thought I had this in the drawer. What I want to know is where's the Ouija board that goes to that piece, because that's been missing. I remember I destroyed one a couple years back. Then there was another one that appeared out of nowhere, and I wonder where that one is.
It was very mysterious that this item was able to reappear out of nowhere and slide across the room. It was equally mysterious that the ghost never responded to the Ouija boards back in the day, and only recently decided that moving them was a better option. Literally everything about this situation was weird, and it seemed Roland had no way out of it, although he did. Once the Ouija board incident happened, he decided that enough was enough, and the house could officially be sold onto someone else, so they could deal with all of the rubbish. It's unknown whether the ghost followed Roland to his new home, or stuck with the new family, but all we can do is hope for the outcome we prefer. For some strange reason, hotels are considered to be the third most likely thing to be haunted in society, falling behind only dolls and hospitals. This video, which was recorded by a proud father of two called Mike, took place in a hotel with no haunted backstory, but no one had any idea that its story was still being written. Over the few days that the family spent inside the hotel, they had all complained about the inconsistency of the shower's temperature. Apparently, it would go from freezing cold to boiling hot gradually, and Mike's son claimed that it genuinely burned him, even having a mark to show for it. This left the family confused, until on one lucky day, Mike's wife caught the cause red-handed.
Move the handle again. You did it so good. 3 times. Well, more than that. 3 times like, ah! No. No. Then went slow. You see it? I can't wait to send this to April and Mom.
No, I know that.
I told you.
That's why we kept getting burnt last night. Christian was saying that he's upstairs taking a shower right now.
Look.
Oh my God. Oh no.
I told you.
I
Look,
forgot.
it's still
I
going.
still gotta take a shower.
It's still going.
Can you move it further? Show us what you can do. Ah! Okay.
I told you.
That's it.
Look, it's so hot. Look, it's still going.
And you see how fast the jerk is that
It's
it moves?
getting hotter at me.
And no one is Dora.
Do it one more time.
No one is
Show us that it's really you. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off now.
Dude, I'm...
Somehow, the handle which determined the temperature of the shower started moving by itself, and this was far from a loose handle. It was actually very hard to move as a human, so it made no sense that it could just push itself along due to being loose. This phenomenon was completely and utterly unexplainable. The following video was set in Korea and showcased the adventure of a young, brave man who decided it would be fun to explore a renowned haunted house. He was called Hyung Min, and he was known for loving the thrill of exciting activities such as roller coasters and skydiving. Exploring haunted houses were no different. This particular adventure took place at around 12 p.m. in a house famous for containing a shaman. Shamans are religious professionals who deliberately alter their consciousness in order to obtain information from the paranormal world. The practice often leads to inviting demons to the said location. Let's just say that Hyung Min was brave to make this adventure.
와, 아자, 와, 뭐야, 무슨 소리야? 누구요? 뭐 떨어진 거야, 방금? 누구야, 방금?
Early on in the clip, we are introduced to a loud bang, which forces Hyung Min to turn around and scan the surrounding area. His eyes are eventually drawn to the doorway, and he decides to poke his camera around it. Just as he did this though, a door closed behind him. Very strange. For most people viewing this video, the footage wasn't enough to make them believe that there was actually a ghost in the building though, and it could have very easily been faked. In combat to these accusations, Hyung Min decided to show another bit of evidence that was much more believable.
이때 당시에 지금 여러분들 여기에 지금 현역 뭐라 어디에 있어? 감추지 말고 기운 감추지 말고
Dangerously, the spirit launched a pretty large knife onto the floor, which was enough to make Hyung Min take a big step back. It was an unusual occurrence for a spirit to move objects of this degree, especially in a manner that aggressive. This was something that Hyung Min couldn't get over, and one question forever lingered in his brain. What if the knife had hit him? In the following video, a young man was fast asleep when he was woken up by the sound of water running for the 4th consecutive night. Every time he decided to go downstairs and turn the tap off again, but he just assumed that there was an issue with the tap itself. He even went as far as calling the local plumbers, who said they would come down in due course. However, after this video was filmed, I doubt they'd even consider entering that house anytime soon.
It's like the second time tonight.
Now at first you may have considered this to be a problem with the tap too, but fortunately the man didn't stop filming and managed to catch a breakthrough piece of footage. The handle of the tap moved, which meant that someone or something must have forced it to. What made this even more believable was the fact that the handle had to move upwards to turn itself on, which if done on its own accord must have defied the laws of gravity. Whoever did this is unknown, but the answer is pretty obvious considering those statements. A ghost was in the kitchen. Crossing the road is way more dangerous than it actually appears to be. Cars can drive at up to 200 miles per hour, and being hit by a heap of metal at that speed can cause a fatality. Us humans are forced to be cautious when coming across these vehicles, but spirits from other dimensions, a heap of metal has nothing on them. The video you're about to see was filmed using a dash cam and captured what on the surface looks like a genuine person being inches away from death, but in reality is the apparition of a ghost casually crossing the highway. Take a look. Now there are two reasons that we know this was that of a spirit's kind and not just your regular human. First of all, if you look closely, it has next to no facial features. The best way to properly describe it is faceless. As well as that fact, it also had a hint of transparency to it, as you can very slightly see behind it in a blurry view. Once the driver reviewed this footage, he was more than relieved that he didn't almost end someone's life. But in the back of his mind, he was wondering what on earth that spirit could have been up to and who it possibly could have been. He ended up assuming that it was a message for him to get better at driving. This security guard had been working at his local supermarket for more than 4 years and explained that it was one of the most boring jobs a man could get. It involved walking around a store for 6 hours, mindlessly checking security and scrolling on a phone. But I bet he took all of those words back after he had the most thrilling shift of his life. Not in a good way. The store was located in one of the most peaceful places in Mexico, where the last thing you would expect to happen would be a robbery. This is why the guard was so confused when he saw someone else in the store with him, but he had no idea that it wasn't a human at all.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Buenas madrugadas. No, bueno, más bien estoy nervioso, asustado. Siempre traigo mi celular a la mano. Son las 3:20 de la mañana, me tocó aquí guardia nocturna, Bodega Herrera. Si se fijan, está todo solo. Pero ahorita acabo de ver a alguien allá en la entrada de clientes. Y no sé por qué está todo solo, miren. Estoy solo aquí. Y no le voy a poner pausa ni nada, para que ustedes mismos vean cómo creen que estoy. No creo, yo me miro normal ahorita, pero pues ¿qué más puede hacer uno, no? Se miró allá por la entrada de clientes, hasta allá hasta atrás, y no hay nadie. Ya fui a asomarme y no hay nadie. Así lo voy a dejar, a ver si pues de pura chingadera se vuelve a ver, ¿no? No, ya no se va a ver nada. Ya no se va a ver nada porque lo que se mira acá de este lado es la pantalla que está prendida. Ahí arriba, esa. De ahí en más, pues estoy solo, les digo, está todo solo ahorita. Solo. Y ahorita vi algo allá en la entrada de clientes. Hasta allá, hasta el último. Y lo vi clarito. Ya lo vi otra vez. A ver si se alcanza a ver. No, me da miedo ir. A eso que se mira ahí. Eso negro que se ve ahí. Miren, ya se movió. ¡Oh! Está caminando. De hecho, hasta que no manches. No manches. Y se sigue moviendo. Es una persona, claro está que miren. No. Vámonos.
If you look very closely, it becomes apparent that a slim shadow figure was all the way down the aisle that the security guard was looking down. It looked seemingly harmless, as if it was just shopping, but the store was shut, so that was not allowed. Once the figure ducked behind the shelves, the guard quickly ran to the cameras to track them down, but to his dismay, nobody could be detected on them. It made absolutely no sense, and he left his shift that night having no idea what actually happened. He tried to forget about it, but just as fast as he made that decision, he was given a horrible reminder.
Amigos, me levanté en la madrugada porque se oye que están ladrando los perros muy feo. ¿Sí oyen? Vamos a salir. Está haciendo airecito así como que muy... Miren mi gato, ¿dónde está? ¿Ya lo vieron? Está haciendo airecito así como que muy... agradable, pero los perros sí los oyen, amigos. Se oye así como que da miedo, ¿no? Oigan, ahí va uno también. Mira, es eso lo que se ve ahí en la esquina, mira. También se mira aquí en las cámaras. Mira, eso. Mira, y no manches. ¿Qué será? Mira, mira. ¿Ya viste?
If this was the same shadow figure that he saw at the store, then he was in massive trouble. There is nothing worse than a ghost that can move around the world instead of being attached to one location. No matter how much someone tries to escape it, it will always make a return. On February 13th of 2022, a woman called Marie was checking on her beautiful horses like she did every night. She loved to do this activity by herself because it was where she obtained peace and quiet and a break from her children. However, this time the noise came with her. Make sure to turn your volume up.
Taxi. Hey.
If you listened and turned up the volume, you should have heard a faint voice saying, "Hey," and laughing, which understandably freaked Marie out to the extreme. This wouldn't be a first though. In fact, this was only the first video out of 3 covering this mysterious voice. A few days after the "Hey" incident, Marie went back to her horses, and this time was much different. The sun was out and the snow had gone. It was truly beautiful weather. The man must have agreed though, because in his eyes, it was his time to shine.
Come up! No! What the fuck? You better get him going then. Let's go! Pacey! What the fuck are you guys staring at? I'm gonna be stuck here by myself. Well, okay then. What the fuck is that noise? What the fuck was that?
These noises were completely uncodable, and Marie was left unsure as to what was actually being said. However, she was aware that it was the same voice as last time and was starting to get very freaked out by it. She still had no idea what it was though, until exactly 1 week after the incident, when the entire story came to light.
What the fuck? Nope.
This time, instead of a man making noises, she could hear the grunt of a horse, and all the pieces started to line up. The family that she purchased the house from was selling it because their father had died there, and his horse did the same a year prior. Coincidence? I think not. It was a Tuesday afternoon when Glenn and his wife Lucy were chilling at home. Lucy had just arrived back, and Glenn had supposedly seen something moving in the kitchen, so she decided to go and investigate with him. It's important to note that what happened next was terrifying enough to force the couple into a new home, and the landlord had a lot of trouble selling it afterwards.
Yeah, I think that's recording, babe. What was it you saw?
I don't know. I saw something in the kitchen move. I don't know what it was, but it just seemed strange.
Yeah, but it's probably just the window's open. I thought I saw something the other night, and there's just that crossbreed from the window and the balcony.
Keep the camera open because I swear I saw.
Oh my god, man!
Oh, here, give me the camera. Oh my
Babe,
god, what the? Oh
Babe,
god.
Please, we just get out.
Fucking hell! Shit, let's go. Let's get out of here. Oh.
Out of nowhere, the oven swung open, and it was shortly followed by the launching of an ornament on the shelf. Now, before this, both Glenn and Lucy were rather calm in each other's company, but straight after the oven opened on its own accord, all sense of safety left the kitchen. Like any normal people, they sprinted away and let their family know what happened. They were able to stay in Glenn's dad's house for the following 2 weeks until they were allowed to move into a new property. In the following video, what was meant to be a harmless prank between two young brothers turned into a horrific event that left both of them unable to sleep for nights. Now, the prank was a simple one involving Chris G, the older brother, scaring Chris F, the younger one, and capturing his reaction on camera. He set the phone up on a shelf and went to get into position, but it was at this moment that the unexplainable happened.
Yo, what's up, homeboys? Chris G. Alright, so here's the deal. Chris F is in the bathroom, which is somewhere over there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide right over here and put the camera so when he comes in the room, I'm going to scare him. You guys get to see how he looks. Alright? Alright, then homeboys, I'm going to hide right now. Chris!
On their shared work desk, they had 2 artificial roses, which were purely for decoration. However, little did any of the brothers know that they could move. Once Chris G was behind cover, ready to scare his bro, the roses fell, and this left them completely baffled. The flowers were in a perfectly stable position, meaning that something or someone must have nudged them to cause them to fall. It's unknown what actually did this, but the brothers claimed they went practically sleepless for the 2 nights following, before they were assured of their safety. Just last month, an old man by the name of Simon was living alone when he decided to try and document the struggles he had been going through over the past few weeks. According to his words, he had seen a mysterious figure in his house before and was seeking to catch it on camera so people didn't find him crazy. The following video is the documentation, and it gets very spooky.
Right, doing a little bit of an investigation. Been doing it for a while, but I'm on my own tonight, and the house on my own, it's so creepy, it's terrible. See, we've seen a figure in the living room behind the door. Oh, for what the with this crap? I'm sick of this thing. What the was that? I'm sick and tired of this house. It's horrible. Cat's up there. What are you doing up there? Oh, for fuck's sake, I've had enough of this crap.
Strangely, a head-like shape peeked from the corner of the stairs before quickly dashing back into the shadows out of sight. It's likely that the spirit did this to avoid leaving too much evidence that it was there, making it slightly unbelievable for the old man's family, so he still couldn't let them know about it. Fortunately, he had enough of it and decided to show his children the footage he caught, and surprisingly, they were very supportive. They took him out of the place and finally put him in a care home, which is what he always wanted, and he never saw anything paranormal again. On June the 4th of 2023, a mother and her youngest son were lying in bed waiting for the father of the house to come home. He promised that he would bring them both a McDonald's once he got back, and that was something they didn't want to miss. However, something else in the house was much hungrier than they were. The clock hit 10 p.m. when one of the freakiest and most disturbing things of their lives decided to hit them. Have a watch.
Who is it? Me. Who's me?
Your son.
Aren't you at your friend's sleepover? Who are you? What do you want? There's food in the microwave. Go to bed. Go to bed.
Now this mimic was clearly desperate to enter the bedroom and likely wanted to haunt it as its next target. Luckily though, the son was with the mother, so she knew for sure that it wasn't him trying to reach her. As well as this, she claimed that he would never act like that, further emphasizing how aware she was of the situation she was in. Eventually, to their fortune, the mimic left, but that doesn't mean it left forever. For the following 2 hours, both of them were fine and they were full at McDonald's since the father was home. However, when she was reading a bedtime story to the child, it came back.
Braulio? 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 Braulio?
Weirdly, the door opened by itself, and with no surprise, nothing stood on the other side. This made things very peculiar, because the ghost seemed so angry that it wasn't being allowed inside, yet it eventually just let itself in. Perhaps the whole sequence was solely just to scare the family, which is extremely evil considering that one of them was a young child. In the following video, a Russian man, who we don't actually know the name of, had growing concerns regarding his grandmother's house, so he decided to investigate by deploying cameras all around the building. This sense of concern first came around when his grandma started waking up in the middle of the night to weird noises, and she usually got very scared as it could possibly have been caused by an intruder. Regardless, she got her brave grandson to come and save the day, and the footage he captured was beyond terrifying. Here's the first one. Strangely, the cabinet started shaking rapidly, which, as described by the grandma, made a very similar sound to a noise that woke her up very recently. If this statement was true, then this wasn't a one-time occurrence, and the family had every reason to be worried for her safety. The shocking thing is that there was another clip caught on the same night. After hearing the cabinets shaking, the Russian man decided to go downstairs and investigate what was going on, just in case there was a squatter living there. It was at this moment that everything was revealed, and they truly confirmed that a ghost was present.
Злые люди.
Они вас убили?
In a very odd fashion, the table slid to the side and it was clear and obvious that no one or nothing visible had done this. The family had no choice but to pinpoint this to the worst possible outcome. The house was haunted. They put the house on the market as quick as a flash, and the local priest came to attempt a blessing, but we don't know how successful that was. All we know is that the elderly lady is safe living with her grandson, and everyone is happy. These two men were doing their regular jobs of cleaning the cinema when they started to hear some really strange noises coming from the production room. In retaliation to this, they quickly went down the stairs so they could get a better look up at where the noises were coming from, and what they saw was definitely enough to freak them out.
Otra vez. ¿Qué fue?
If we look closely, a head could be seen glancing at the duo before immediately ducking back into cover after being caught. It's important to know that this room had finished for the day, and no one was supposed to be working up there, and they'll never know who it truly was. The only evidence is that a member of the crew passed away a few nights before this incident, and they usually operated the screen in this room. Both the cleaners speculate that this is who they saw that night, but this was only the first incident. There was another. Approximately 1 week after this shift, both workers involved hadn't seen any other strange sightings in the building, so assumed that it was a one-time thing. However, when the oldest one of them was doing some work alone in the same room as the last, the noises returned, except this time behind the curtains. Now, like any regular person would do, the man decided to go and investigate behind the curtains and see if any real person had broken into the room. But to his dismay, no one was there. As if this wasn't enough, there were a few times where shadow figures could be seen above where he was, but they are hard to distinguish from the man's own, so it isn't enough to be sure. Regardless, the man left his role as a cleaner in this cinema a few days after this second sighting and went to work as a janitor in a school instead. Did he make the right choice? Let me know in the comments. The following video took place in a Dutch apartment which hosted a university student. The student was renting the apartment so she had somewhere to stay that was local to her studies. However, she had no idea what would come from calling this place home. On her second night, she was relaxing in the living room, watching television, when one of the creepiest events of her life happened.
What the fuck is that? Oh my god.
Strangely, despite scanning the room for someone, she failed to find a culprit and ran out in fear. But this wasn't the scariest part. As she stared at the doorway, anticipating some more supernatural stuff to happen, a dark figure peeked round the door, and she ran without any hesitation. Now it's impossible to understand what the motive of this spirit was, but if it was to scare the girl, it definitely succeeded. She left the property 2 weeks later and went to live in a university dorm room instead. It was 2 p.m. in the afternoon in the Adams household, and the entire family was out, as the parents were granted a day off work. They were planning to visit the park together for a few hours to gain some bonding time, but little did they know they didn't bring everyone with them, despite the whole family being in the car. Confused? I'll let the security footage do the explaining. Weirdly, the metal chair fell to the floor and started dragging itself along by itself. This was very odd, since no one was present in the building, and no natural force could possibly make something like this happen, especially since the windows were definitely closed. After receiving a notification that something was in their house, the father quickly checked his phone and was left stumped. They never witnessed anything close to this ever again. After sneaking onto an inactive plane at night, young adult Tyler expected to get into a lot of trouble in the case that he got caught. He was prepared to pay fines and be on his way, but he had no idea of the true magnitude of danger he was putting himself in, and it wasn't because of the plane. You see, it was inactive for a reason, but not a reason you'd ever expect.
Let's go. We did this shit. Now, I know I'm not dumb enough to lift those shades up because I got my flash on in here. They gonna catch my ass if they see. I ain't gonna lie to y'all though, it's mad cold in here. And it's dark. I mean, I know it doesn't look that dark on the camera, but it's dark. Let's go! Let's go! Right, sitting on the back of the plane. And y'all probably think I'm fucking insane. Probably think I'm doing this shit for fame.
As Tyler got more and more confident that he managed to board the plane without being detected, one of the seatbelts jumped to the side while he wasn't even close to it. Like any regular human, he quickly turned the corner to see if anyone else had boarded the air vehicle, but to his dismay, he found nobody. It's still unknown what caused the seatbelt to move, but even the most unbelieving people are convinced that this was the act of a ghost. I'm keen to hear what you guys think in the comments. On an unidentifiable evening, a security guard at his local store was working his night shift. Now, usually this was his favorite shift, because no one bothered him, and most of the time it didn't involve any action. However, all of this was about to change for the worst when he witnessed the craziest thing on the cameras. Take a look.
Just putting things away from the box. All right, now watch. I want you guys to focus on this area right here, okay? Hold on, let me speed this up a bit. All right, watch.
If you have the doctrine right and you stow it on a shelf in your closet and do not pull that doctrine out.
Boom, you see that? I'll get back here for you guys to give you a better view. Look at that. And I'm just like tripping, like what just happened? At first I didn't know what the hell it was, but went to see that there's a box on the ground. I'm like, okay, it's weird. Now I'm going to look, you know, to see what's going on. It fell, okay, but pay attention to this area right here. Watch.
As he is showing the camera and what it captured, a banging noise could be heard behind him, and he started to become convinced that someone was in the building, despite the cameras not detecting a human yet. Curiously, he decided to wander around the store, and this time he experienced something outside of the screen.
Is that you? Look, I'm here by myself. Nobody's here. It's just me. See that? Come out. I'm not afraid of you. Is that you? That threw down the box earlier? Come on out. You don't scare me. Come on out, pussy. Always trying to mess with me. Ooh! Oh, shit. No. Hell no. Hell. Let me see. Hold on. Where am I? I'm here. Where am I going? Look, there I am right there. Look, you see that? You see that? Nah. Nah. Hell no.
At first, this clip is very hard to understand, but once you zoom in, you can see that the guard's hair was tucked. This was very odd, considering that the hair clearly didn't latch onto anything, meaning that a spirit must have decided to do this. Regardless of the cause, the security guard was completely rattled and vowed to never do a shift by himself again. Attics are notorious for being some of the most haunted rooms in houses, and there are countless clips backing up this claim. The upcoming video is one of these clips, and it gets very creepy very fast. It was taken on September 17th of 2018 and features a father of two called Michael. He heard some suspicious noises coming from the attic and decided to investigate. This is what he discovered. Immediately after entering the attic, the noises started to intensify and items began moving on their own accord. Now that Michael had seen this firsthand, he was convinced it was a haunting rather than a squatter and barricaded the attic shut. Despite closing it though, the noises continued and he was forced to move out just a month later. The house is still listed as haunted to this day. On an October night nearing Halloween, this American family was planning what decorations and costumes they would use for a party they were going to host. They all came up with some great ideas, with some being themed around the supernatural. Little did they know that all of this was about to become real.
I heard the bell.
Did you move the bell at all of it?
Huh?
Did you move the bell?
No. I heard the bell ring.
At around 9 p.m., they heard the bells outside their door ringing and assumed that someone was at their door like usual. The mother ran a small business and a lot of deliveries came to the house because of it, so this was a regular occurrence for the family. However, after reviewing the doorbell footage, it was far from normal. No one was there. The only possible explanation to this would be the wind, but that day had no wind throughout the evening. It's difficult to excuse this event as something from the normal world. The only safe option would be to blame a spirit. In the following video, a teenage boy named Braden was awake late at night whilst his parents were still fast asleep. He was scrolling through TikTok when he started to hear some pretty loud noises, but the way he reacted to these noises was beyond shocking. You could call it brave, or you could call it foolish, but that's for you to decide. Have a watch.
Wow, it's really bad right now. Okay, hold on. Jesus. Okay, hold up. Why is the tree on there? Whatever that is coming from up here. Should I attempt to go in there? Fuck. Because that was coming, all that thumping, it was coming from like right in there, in that room.
Come up here for a sec, man.
What the fuck? What the fuck was that? You guys, did I just hear that right?
Get up here now.
Okay. That I'm not fucking with. That I'm not fucking with, bro. That I'm not fucking with, bro. That I don't play around with.
As strange as it may have been, Braden heard his own voice aggressively telling him to come upstairs, to which he instinctively entered flight mode and ran for his life. The thing that made this very weird for Braden is that his parents didn't actually wake up to the loud beckon, leading him to believe that he and the camera were the only things experiencing the noise. It's common for mimics to imitate loved ones to tempt people into sinning, but this situation was very unique. The mimic mocked its own prey with seemingly no intentions, so it's safe to assume that it was a very dangerous spirit. Braden's parents still don't believe that anything happened that night, despite him being adamant, and he currently takes therapy sessions. They think he's crazy. The woman on the right of the following video had been experiencing paranormal activity for the past few years, and had actually gotten used to having a ghost reside in her home. Whenever friends or family were coming round to visit, she would warn them of the spirit and explain why it was trying to scare them, but it never went as far as it did in the following clip. The two women spoke about it afterwards and explained that they had never experienced anything as severe as this before, and the house owner ended up having enough of letting the spirit get away with these things. Take a look.
And if something happens, what will do then? We do nothing because it's nothing going to happen. We are here. Martina. It's okay. It's okay. Just ignore and don't do anything. Just ignore. Sometimes these things is happening, you know.
Maybe it's because we talked about it?
Yes, maybe because we talked. Oh my God. Okay, just leave it. Just ignore.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
Okay, no, I know it's not your fault.
Yes, that's not my fault.
I know it's not your fault.
That's not my fault.
Shit. Okay.
Get out! Get out from my house!
Okay, Martina, I think I'm freaking out a little bit. You know?
No, don't freak out. No, it's fine. It is
okay. We just, I don't know. Okay, let's talk about something.
Now, what made this scenario so much worse than all of the other ones was the fact that all of the cutlery was launched off of the counter onto the two women. This cutlery included knives, which are very dangerous objects when thrown around like this, so the women were in genuine risk of pain. Usually, after the ghost does something paranormal, the house owner gives it a telling off and it listens to her before stopping. However, on this specific occasion, it refused to listen to her shouting and began to be disobedient. This was a very dangerous situation for someone to be in, and who knows if she got out of it okay. Ghost hauntings are often a horrible experience, but they never usually take the throne of the worst moment of someone's entire life. However, in the video you're about to see, the victim, Rosanna, claimed that she had never experienced anything nearly as creepy as it, and her dreams were left scarred for life. Rosanna was an aspiring hairdresser and went out of her way to do it during college and also study business so that she could get her own salon up and running. One of her favorite props to practice on was a model of the human head, which had very realistic hair, making it the closest thing to a person she could get. Little did she know, though, the doll was alive.
Right.
As if the bulging eyes weren't enough to send her running up the stairs to her bedroom, no matter what direction Rosanna moved in the head would track her with an almost instant reaction time. On top of this, towards the end of the clip, something on one of the tabletops collapsed onto the floor, despite being perfectly balanced there for at least 1 week. With all three of these aspects combined, it was clear that what happened could not have been natural. There was a ghost sharing the house, and Rosanna was just around the corner from getting even more proof. On the same night as the hairdresser doll incident, Rosanna decided to get some sleep at around 11 p.m., but unfortunately, her body didn't let her do so. After seeing what she had seen, she was left rolling around thinking about the possibility of a spirit watching her, and soon enough, she was face to face with an apparition. It is very easy to make out the image of a face from this reflection, and it definitely wasn't crafted by sunlight at 1:20 in the morning. Rosanna later explained that she could make out the eyes, and they even blinked at her, further proving that this was the head of a real person. She didn't know what to do and kind of just lay there, staring back at whatever this paranormal creature could have been. Needn't she worry though, because sooner or later, she was about to come face to face with it for a second time. The next morning, Rosanna woke up and cooked herself a beautiful breakfast to reward herself for coping with what had happened over the last few days. She gobbled this food up as quickly as she ever did and settled in the living room to watch some television by herself before practicing some more hairdressing. She was at peace, but feelings this good never last forever, and her ghostly friend was about to prove this. Strangely, a weird shadow figure was standing at the other end of her hallway and continuously came closer to the door. This was very freaky and built up some crazy tension in Rosanna, and once it actually reached the door, she hid underneath something, praying that she would be safe. The ghost started at her hiding for a solid 4 minutes, according to Rosanna, before gliding away to the right and not coming back again that night. Rosanna is currently in contact with her local Catholic church, discussing options of how to remove this supposedly evil spirit. No progress has yet been made. On February the 13th of 2019, a YouTuber, who we've discussed on this channel before by the name of Mellowbird, we'll call him Mellow, discovered that his new house was haunted. If you're new here, Mellow has experienced things of the paranormal sort before, and his segment of the video ended with him leaving the house and moving into a new one. The following clip is a documentation in the new house, and it becomes apparent that despite moving, his spirit was still attached, and he was in for a long ride if he wanted to get rid of it. Here's what it did this time. After being settled in his new house for a few weeks, Mello had finally installed Wi-Fi and was in the living room catching up on his favorite TV series. However, although he was in the mood for a relaxed night, his ghost decided that the arrival of the Wi-Fi box signaled its time to reveal it was still present and moved loads of things in his room, even having the audacity to do it whilst he was in there. Now, obviously, Mello was extremely frightened that the ghost had tracked him from his old place of residence, and he actually broke down into tears. Since this video, he stopped documenting his ghost sightings as he believed it just wanted attention, and he was giving that to it. Who knows if his strategy worked? Let me know what you think in the comments. In the following video, we managed to find two perspectives of the same ghost from different people. The first one was captured by the wife of the family, and the second by the husband, and what they managed to film on camera was a very disturbing thing to have happened in their own home. It was roughly 2 a.m. when this first video was caught. Both the husband and the wife were fast asleep when they were woken up by what was about to happen.
Siapa? Ya Allah. Astagfirullahaladzim, ya Allah. Siapa? 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 Ya Allah. Ya Allah.
After hearing this repetitive knocking, the wife continuously muttered the word siapa, which translated to English means who. Despite asking such a simple question to the person behind the door, she got no response. And although this may have been considered dangerous, she decided to open the door. Fortunately, no one dangerous was behind it, or this could have been a fatal mistake. But on the flip side, no one was there, which was quite unlucky. Either this was an excellent ding-dong ditch player, or the act of the ghost. But the first option would soon be removed by what the husband caught in the same house on the same night.
Siapa? Siapa manggil?
The shower, which had never experienced any former problems, randomly started turning on and off by itself, which was very weird according to the family. What made things even creepier was the fact that the shower only turned on once the door was closed, and every time it was opened, nothing was happening on the other side. Now, it's highly unlikely for even a shower with problems to behave in this manner, so the husband was sold that a ghost was having some fun. This was a very weird night for the husband and wife, and they will likely never experience anything like it ever again. Losing a loved one is undeniably the worst mental feeling anyone can suffer, and the woman in the upcoming video was a victim of this. Her father had died, and it came to her first birthday without him. So, although there was a happy air surrounding the place, it also felt a little bit empty. But of course, they still celebrated. Her mother knew how much the woman's father meant to her, and so she decided to get her a Build-A-Bear toy with his voice in it, which was very sweet, but nobody could have predicted what happened next.
Tell me a ghost story that sounds completely unbelievable but is entirely...
That sounds crazy, so buckle up. I celebrated a birthday a couple weeks ago, and it's the first birthday that my dad has not been here for, and that was really hard, but it is what it is. And my mom got me a little Build-A-Bear with his voice in it. Like, the little clicky thing was his voice. And it was so sweet and adorable. And so we're all sitting at the kitchen table having a lovely time listening to his voice, and all of a sudden one of his toy fire trucks goes off in the other room. Never once have I heard this thing go off in my life. The siren goes off, the lights go off. Like, I didn't know they had batteries in them. My dad never turned them on like that. So it was so creepy. And like, we weren't talking at the table, like we were just sitting there like listening to his voice, and then all of a sudden his thing lights up from the other room. And we recorded it all. So check it out and let me know what you think. Do you want a big piece? How big do you want?
Hey kiddo, hope you're doing well. I'm feeling much better now, so whenever you can, just come visit me, okay? Okay.
Shut up.
No way.
That has not worked. That has not worked.
This fire truck had never been turned on in its entire ownership of the father, and it was very disturbing that it decided to set off during this very specific moment. He loved to collect fire trucks, and was actually annoyed that he didn't know how to activate this one's sirens. But the fact that his potential ghost could do this but not him was truly frightening. After turning the truck back off, since the noise was too annoying, the family went back to the dinner table to enjoy a lovely roast dinner in the name of their father. The only difference was that they couldn't get it out of their mind that he was still with them. It really proved the statement that they will always be with you in the heart. And despite this meaning to be an uplifting quote, it made things eerie. Was he with them or was he not? On December 13th of 2022, a man called Paul was doing his job as a day guard at his local factory when one of the weirdest events possible occurred. It was around 8 p.m. when the following video was taken, and it took place just after Paul had finished working. Except little did anyone know that it wasn't Paul after all. Throughout the day, he had been acting stranger than usual and not being his normal self, but it was after he beckoned his friend Tim to come into the back with him that everything became apparent.
This is Paul, and you are about to witness a possession. He's allowed me to post this video, but only if I conceal his identity. Paul was the day guard, and at the end of his shift, I didn't know it at the time, but in an act of kindness earlier in the day he tried to remove and discard the statue head. The following takes place before the Night 12 incident.
Strangely, Paul started to mutter in an undetectable language, and no one could decipher what it was that he was trying to say. Many predict that it was ancient Latin, but after specialists shut those rumors down, people were left clueless. Regardless of the language though, what happened next was terrifying.
I need a 86 for a friendly. Can't breathe. Paul. 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 Paul, I can't breathe.
With a blade, Paul stood up and swung at Tim before getting all aggressive and in his face. The weird thing was that Paul was known for being a kind man who never really got into arguments, so this was extremely out of character. However, before Tim even had a chance to hit back, Paul returned to his normal self, oblivious of what his body had just been used for. But this wasn't the only paranormal event that was hosted within this factory, it was only the beginning. 2 days after the Paul incident, Tim had finally recovered, and his boss told him it was time he stopped being a coward and came back to work. In order to maintain his job, Tim listened, but this would turn out to be one of the worst decisions of his life. Upon arriving at work, everything was fine for Tim. He did his regular checkups and monitored security until eventually Paul left for home and he was able to feel safe again. As he started to get comfortable though, so did the spirit, and what it did this time was just as spooky as the last.
We're doing this.
Hello? Shit. What the fuck? Whoa! Hello? Who's there?
When patrolling the storage corridors, one of the doors was knocking, and it happened to be the one to the room that Paul usually found himself in. Curious, Tim went to inspect the scene, and based on his comment asking God to protect him, we know he knew what he was getting into. After entering the room, one of the mannequins toppled over on its own accord, which was the first red flag for Tim to turn back, but he ignored it. After this, a slab of glass shattered before a pot banged the floor behind him, and he knew that the ghost was present. However, Tim was convinced that this was a different entity, but if we zoom in on the very last frame, the outline of a woman can be made out, and I assume that this was what had possessed Paul as well. Little did Tim know though, that this semi-sighting of the ghost was nothing compared to what he was about to capture. On that same night, he decided to do some more exploring, as he was understandably skeptical that it was actually a ghost haunting him. He adventures for around an hour with no sightings, until eventually something happened that made him wish he never got too ambitious.
Hello?
you.
If you look closely, hands can be seen dangling over what looks like a container, and the figure of a woman can be seen attached to them. Unfortunately though, when Tim turned his flashlight on to capture the ghost, it immediately disappeared and never appeared again. Literally. For the last 2 years, Tim hasn't come across a ghost, which leads him to believe it wasn't a permanent haunting. But the unlucky thing is that he'll never truly know. This little girl was role-playing with her dolls when something extraordinarily creepy happened right next to her. To her dismay, she didn't manage to witness what occurred, but luckily, the CCTV camera in the top corner of the room captured it perfectly. Unexpectedly, the girl's least favorite doll, Lola, started moving by itself in the corner, leading the parents to believe it had been possessed or moved by a ghost. But what actually made them check the security cameras in the first place? Well, a few nights after the doll incident, the little girl was drawing for her parents, and the unexplained happened. Except this time she saw it and told them. This incident is what caused them to scan through all CCTV footage of their child to make sure nothing similar was happening. So have a look. Weirdly, all kinds of objects started moving in the room, and no one except the girl was in the room. Things get much creepier when you discover the doll from before was behind the sofa at the time of the incident, making it very possible that it had something to do with this. Immediately after being alerted, the parents put the doll in the trash and paid the collectors to take it far away from their home early. When the doll was removed, all paranormal activity in the house stopped. The following video took place late at night in a home owned by a man named Robert. Robert lived by himself and often had family coming and visiting him, but during the clip you're about to see, he was the only person home. It happened when Robert was struggling to go to sleep, so decided to go downstairs and play some of the guitar before bed. But something else must have had the same idea, because what happens next is shocking.
So I couldn't sleep because I felt like something was watching me. You ever felt like that? I'm all alone. I come out here to play my guitar because I can't sleep. So I look over here at this thing because I feel like it's freaking watching me. and I could have swore I seen it move. Oh, see, that's what I'm talking. That's that bullshit right there. Oh, hell no. I'm done with it. That thing's going in the dump right now. Well, I got something for that. Yeah, I got something for that right now.
To kick the video off, Robert explains his situation and claims that he was sensing that he was being watched. This gave him an eerie feeling when he was in his living room, and he pinned it down to the teddy bear sitting in a box, and somehow he said it moved. Now at first, this was completely unbelievable. But luckily, just as Robert told his story, the bear moved again just to confirm it. Scared but smart, Robert did what he should have done and put the bear in the trash, but no one believed what he saw, so he actually ended up being checked for mental illnesses. To his fortune, he wasn't diagnosed with anything and showed the video he captured to his family, but they are still skeptical to this day. James Talbot was an overnight security officer at a mall and usually worked on the stairwell to make sure that no unwelcome guests came up when time got late. The upcoming clip took place at roughly 1 a.m., where nothing normally happens. At this time, James tends to record himself and post to his YouTube channel, and he's lucky that he had this habit, because if he didn't, he wouldn't have filmed what was about to happen.
Man, I've been clocked in 8 minutes. Hey! Hey! I'm not finna go check shit. I'm not going down there. Shit. Oh, goddamn, the door locked. Oh. Damn. If it is somebody down there, they're gonna stay their goddamn ass down there. I'm not going. Shit. Hurry up and get up these bitches.
Suddenly, footsteps could be heard from the bottom of the stairwell, and doing his job, James called out to the person guilty. But to his dismay, no one responded. Now, instead of going downstairs to investigate the noise further, James started to feel strangely uncomfortable and ran away from the noise, scared of it, which wasn't usual for him. James sprinted down the corridor and into another room where he decided to hide. But suddenly, he heard the noise of a whisper from inside the room, and this is when things got real.
Hey, somebody fucking in here with me. I'm up here doing this damn job. These folks want me to do all this walking in the dark. I'm not walking down there in no motherfucking dark. Hey. Hey. Not coming the fuck out there, man. Somebody is down there with me. Somebody in here with me. When I got this job, I told them I don't do things like this. And I got my camera on, bitch. You can go if you just come out. I'll let you go free. But don't try to just pop out on me, you know what I'm saying, scare the fuck out of me, make me shit all on myself on the job. Come on now. Come on now, I'm just trying to get my goddamn hours and go home now. He gonna act like he don't hear me. You know you back there, come on. I'm not finna, I'm telling y'all, I'm finna go. 10 o'clock, I'm going this way. Fuck that.
Like before, James started begging the supposed break-in culprit to reveal themselves, and even offered to let them go for free. However, no one spoke back. He stood there for a second and thought of what to do next before following his instinct instead of the job. He packed his bags, locked up, and left for the night. Now, after doing this, James expected there to have been a robbery overnight and had his excuses ready, but surprisingly, nothing happened. Had he really been going crazy, or did something much deeper occur? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. It was approximately 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night, and a man named Zark was all alone in his house. His family had already moved out prior to this night because the escalating paranormal activity had started to affect them badly. Zark and his family claimed to have experienced several paranormal events prior to this footage. However, none of them come close to what you're about to see.
The fuck? Where's the cupboard open? The lights are off. You see, I normally keep that light on because that's how I get to know the haunting has begun or not. And that's why I've actually covered the lights so that it doesn't glare on my eyes while I'm sleeping. The cupboard is open right now. I'm alone in the room.
Now, this night started at a fairly low level on the haunted side of things. All Zark saw was the cupboard open, despite being closed when he fell asleep. But compared to other things he had seen, this wasn't too drastic. However, it was just shortly after that, the ghost started to do something Zark had never seen before.
It's at the door.
Stop it! Stop it, please!
Weirdly, the door started knocking, and the only explanation for this is that it was a spirit on the other side. Zark asks the spirit to stop the knocking, and after some time it stops. But what happens a few minutes later sends chills down Zark's spine.
Go fuck yourself, Jerry. Go fuck yourself.
Shit. I'm not gonna stay here. Fuck.
It's important to note that Zark was completely alone when he heard his kid's voice saying "Daddy," so that had to be a mimic. After this, Zark left his apartment immediately and spent the rest of the night in his car. The following video took place in the abandoned section of a hospital which had been closed down due to a dodgy construction, meaning it was at risk of falling at any given moment. Regardless of this pretty frightening fact, the person who recorded this piece of content was bored and decided to venture into these forbidden regions. It was only afterwards that he realized this was a crazy mistake, and not because he got caught. Weirdly, the curtain drew open by its own means and revealed no one or nothing on the other side. Since no one was there, this meant that nothing visible could have possibly moved the curtain, leading to one simple answer. There was a spirit in the room. Immediately after figuring out that this was the case, the man turned around and sprinted back to where he was meant to be, waiting for his appointment. From this point and forward, he vowed to never be that adventurous again. This American man was relaxing in his room watching TV when one of the most frightening sequences of events in his lifetime happened. He stated after this night that he would never leave his closet open at night again in fear that there truly was a ghost or poltergeist attached to it. It's important to note that it was roughly 2:30 a.m. when this video was captured, and the house it took place in had no ties to paranormal activity at all. Well, at least until this was recorded.
Knocking again. Hey, if you can hear me, move the doll again. Move it again. It was moving earlier. Move again. Okay. See that? Move it more. Still knocking, okay? Anything else? Oh, my chair. Anything else? More knocking, okay. And as always, we'll do a quick check. There's nothing in here. Obviously not enough room for anyone here.
Now, all three parts of this sequence are completely unexplainable, and after the man decided to search the closet, he found nothing hiding there. Either the thing was very good at hiding, or it wasn't visible at all. He was extremely fortunate that he caught all of this on tape, because he was able to take the footage over to the local church and see what they had to say about it. Unsurprisingly, they didn't seem happy with what they were seeing. They blessed him on the spot and asked if he could bring the person he shared the house with, Luke, to the church to have the same done. We weren't told whether this worked or not, which leads us to assume that it did. Around 9 years ago today, a young French girl arrived home from school after what she described to be a long day. Usually upon arrival, she would sling her bag onto the banister and greet her two parents. But this time, for some peculiar reason, she got no response. She proceeded to walk around the house calling for her mama, and what happened next was beyond shocking. They may have been speaking in French, but it doesn't take a French speaker to know that what went on here was very strange.
Là, Olivier, arrête! T'es vraiment fatigant, là. Je vais appeler maman. Olivier? Oli? Olivier? Oli? Ah! Oli? C'est vraiment pas drôle, là. Je vais appeler maman. Ça a bougé. Maman! Ah, maman! Maman! Oli!
Strangely, many kitchen items started flying off of their shelves, and all the cupboards and drawers swung open without anything helping them to do so. With being such a young age, the only way the girl could combat her fear was to shout for her mother to come. But again, for some peculiar reason, she chose this night not to come home. Once she realized the hard truth that no help would arrive, the girl quickly picked her bag up again and ran to her mother's work in case she had to do overtime at her job. Luckily, this was in fact the case. They went home together 20 minutes after this, and to the girl's dismay, all of the paranormal activity had stopped, and the items were back in their places. In the mother's point of view, it was just her imagination. Flowers are a sign of love, and are often gifted to women by children or their significant other. They are the last thing that anyone would consider to be haunted, but sometimes the odds are beaten, and the following piece of footage is a prime example of this. The woman in this video was called Donna, and she was a mother of 3 children, and was still living in a very happy relationship. Unfortunately though, her father had passed away a few months prior to the recording, and she had only recently got over the loss, as he was a big part of her life. He was the first man that came to her mind when the following happened. It must have been him in her eyes. There was no other option.
Hey guys, just wanted to catch this. These were moving. I wasn't tripping. They were definitely moving. There you go, see? I knew I saw it. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, I don't know if you got that then, but it sounded like a bit of a growl. I'm not scared here. Guys, are you seeing that? Look at that. It's not me, look. There's nothing there. I'm keeping it there because I don't want to get my kids' pictures on. What the fuck? Oh, Christ. Sorry, Lord. Why are you moving my flowers now? Buy your own. Wow. It looks like you've rearranged them. How bizarre. My little girl got me those and I've had them for years. So please don't wreck them. Oh, that is messed up. Hello? Do you want to give me a message? Is there anything you want to tell me? Who are ya? Oh, I've got a bit of a tap. I don't know if I can pick that up. If you are my father... Oh. See, this is why my head starts to go peeps, because every time I mention my dad, bad things start to happen, and it's like he's really trying to... I don't know, I just can't understand it myself. How bizarre. It's just crazy. If it's you, Dad, do something again, please. It's just some plastic flowers, they're not even real. Seems to be gone now.
As weird as this may sound, the ghost decided that of all objects it was going to toy with, it would choose the flowers on the shelf. Now the woman says that these were purchased for her by her little girl, but what she didn't mention was the role that her father played in this. He actually recommended that the daughter should buy her mother some flowers, and they were bought as a result of this. Perhaps that was the reason the ghost, which was probably him, chose the flowers out of all the other options. On October the 29th of 2018, very close to Halloween, a Spanish man called Ellen was by himself relaxing when a near-perfect night became one of the worst of his life. It was roughly 4 a.m. and he had just returned home from a lively party at his friend's house. The party had over 50 guests there and even had a pool, so it's safe to say that he had a good time. But little did he know that a special someone was waiting to frighten him once he arrived home.
Okay. Escuchen esto. Les estoy grabando esto. Son las 2:33 de la mañana. Y estamos completamente asustados. Sí, por estos sonidos. No sabemos qué esté detrás de la puerta, pero estamos muy asustados. Al parecer no se ve nada. Pero y efectivamente, como pueden ver a simple vista, pero no es nadie. Pero se siente como que si alguien me vigilara. Vamos para adentro mejor. Vamos adentro, vamos adentro. Ok, les grabo esto para que se den cuenta que esto está pasando casi todos los días. Ok, va de nuevo. What? No manches.
What made this clip very suspicious was the fact that the lights turned off after he closed the door. Now a lot of people would see this and instantly pin it to a power outage or something else of the sort, but everyone else in the neighborhood had perfectly functional devices that night. As well as this, the figure of a supposed little girl could be seen across from Ellen once he entered the door, which was very uncanny, especially with the shadows engulfing it. This wouldn't be the only sighting of the girl, though considering he found out it wasn't a girl at all. About 15 minutes after the lights turned off, the power came back and Ellen finally got into bed. However, he was woken up by some new knocking, and this time he got a much better vision of what was causing this.
Amigos, son las 5 de la mañana. Toda la noche se han escuchado ruidos, lamentos y la verdad no sabemos qué No manches, ¿qué fue eso? Ok, vamos. Realmente, amigo, no sabemos. Escuchen. Oh, manches, nuevamente, ¿qué es eso? No puede ser. Es lo que estoy viendo, amigos. ¿Escuchan eso? Manches, no puede ser. Para todas esas personas que dicen que esto es mentira. Para todas esas personas que dicen que esto es mentira. Esto es increíble, amigos. Es increíble. Escuchen, realmente no entiendo lo que quiere decir. Creo que se ha ido. Fuck.
As if seeing the shadow of the figure wasn't freakish enough, the noises that the creature made were extremely creepy. They were that of an animal despite having a human shape to them. This made it very hard to pinpoint what it actually was, but it definitely wasn't a girl. Ellen wasn't going to let this question sit on his mind for too long. For the following minutes, the knocking continued, and it really started getting to Ellen, so he buckled up the courage to face what was on the other side, despite having no intel on what it was. He had absolutely no idea, though, that what was behind the door would be one of the most shocking discoveries of his life.
Después de lo que pasó anoche, las cosas están saliendo del control. Es el segundo día desde que abrimos la puerta y esto está pasando el día de hoy. Como pueden ver, siguen molestando. La puerta sigue sonando como que si estuviera alguien detrás de ella. Sé que muchos de ustedes me dijeron que no abriera, pero bueno, aquí vamos. Miren, lluvia. Y no hay nadie. Nuevamente no hay nadie, solamente lluvia. Ok, vamos a cerrar. Y vamos a ver qué pasa. En el video anterior sé que muchos de ustedes me dijeron que no abriera la puerta, pero bueno, ya. Escuchen, les digo, esto se salió de control y no sé cómo pararlo. No sé cómo va a terminar. No sé cómo va a terminar esto. Escuchen. Esto es realmente traumatizante para mí. Y como les dije ayer, amigos, miren. La televisión. Miren. No sé si alcanzan a ver. Que se proyecta una imagen muy extraña. Ok, miren. ¿Qué hizo eso? ¿Qué? No manches.
Nothing. And to make matters worse, the electricity started tweaking again. This was most definitely a spirit. If you've watched this channel before, then you'll know a lot of the ghost encounters we discuss are experienced by professionals who purposefully sneak these events. The upcoming piece of footage comes from some of these people, specifically YouTubers, who want to encounter paranormal activity for views on their YouTube channel. The place that the YouTubers were visiting in this video was a hospital known for its hauntings, and it wasn't exactly the wisest place to visit, to say the least. Here's a glimpse of some stuff that occurred whilst they were there.
Yeah, so look, you guys, the record room. Phil went this way. And yeah, there's some more of this stuff. Here's a desk, or like a counter, main counter for this room, I guess. And some storage shelves. Back here, it's craziness. What do we got here? Special delivery. This is somebody's handwriting. Elsa. Whoop. Dude, listen to this, man. I was looking around. I stopped right here, and I was looking at this, and right behind me, I heard something tapping on this, like one of these metal things.
Out of nowhere, a loud bang could be heard from right behind the cameraman, and after quickly turning around, he found out that nobody was there. What made this the extra mile weirder is that it happened right as he was reading some writing, which leads me to believe that the spirit didn't want these words to be read. This wasn't the only thing they caught on camera though. In fact, there was something much more convincing along the road. A few moments after what they nicknamed the bang incident happened, a much more unexplainable phenomenon happened.
Little corner room right here. It's very bizarre. Very, very bizarre. Sliding glass door. Oh, it's not even rusty. Holy cow. Alright. What do we have here? I got away from Phil somewhere. Whoa, what the... I get it.
The pipe on the roof started swinging on its own accord, and no wind could have possibly found its way into the building. If you think you know what may have caused this, then put your thoughts in the comments, but it's going to take a lot to convince me that it isn't a ghost. In the following video, a group of teenagers were having a sleepover when the host's parents decided to leave the house to collect a takeaway for them all. The takeaway was roughly 20 minutes away, so they would all be home alone for nearly an hour. This is what encouraged them to do what they were about to partake in. One of the bedrooms in the house had been locked up by the father of the house about 6 years ago, and the son was never told why this was done. Out of curiosity, he and his friends decided it was best to investigate, and what happened might be the worst thing a spirit has ever done on camera.
See if they move.
Oh! Okay, hold on. Give me the lighter. I need to...
Light it. Okay, why did that take so long? Was it the wrong key?
No.
Is there cameras in there? Why would there be cameras? Grandpa crazy. Oh, it's just a bedroom? Are you going in?
Fuck no, I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
I don't feel good. Nah, I don't. I'm getting,
this is why white people die in movies, bruh.
Nah. We have black up in this beach.
Oh my god, I just got so lightheaded.
What is that?
Hang in there.
I just got...
Corbin, don't be going through this stuff.
I just got so lightheaded. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I got lightheaded as soon as I walked in here.
Yeah.
You are not welcome here.
Oh, my head's itching. I
If
think
there's
there's
any
lice
spirits
in here.
leave. You are not welcome.
Why is Santa Claus locked up?
That thing's creepy.
Why, Santa, why are you locked up? It could be an object in here.
Yeah.
Did your grandpa ever think about that? Like, it could be an object. You could just burn the whole room. What are you doing in the closet, dude?
Oh, my back's burning.
Is it really?
Bitch, my back's
Do you have
burning.
scratch marks in it? I don't know.
Oh my god!
No, you're kidding.
Stop.
No,
Get out. Get out. Get out.
You
Get out.
have
Get out.
3
Get out. Get out.
scratch marks up your back.
Stop.
No, you do.
Stop, you're giving me anxiety.
Oh my fucking god!
You're kidding, right? You're kidding.
No!
Look.
Now everybody who went to the sleepover backed up the fact that the boy had no scratches on his back before this incident. This meant that somehow he had obtained it while standing in that room, and it was very clear that there was no animal with those capabilities in there. This meant that it was most likely a spirit, and knowing it had the capabilities to physically harm people must have really scared the group. All they learned is to never open that door again, and that's exactly what happened. Whenever people think of a specific room being haunted, 2 rooms always come to mind, either the attic or the basement. These places are rarely entered by people, so they are the perfect breeding ground for undetected paranormal activity, and the following video definitely further proves that point. The attic in the upcoming clip had supposedly been haunted for a while, but the people living there were too scared to do any further investigations. However, one night they heard some banging and had no choice but to take a proper look.
Difference in the roof and the floor. So
56? 70? Between 50... 70? Between 50...
well, it's like 12:30, and I think that it was about an hour since we heard those footsteps coming through here, but I don't know what that was from. What's our average temperature?
It's about 37, 38.
That's why I'm cold. And I'm getting like a 0.2 all the way through the room.
Like, it's going to 45. There's 50. Oh, I got a 50.
I got a reading here. Oh, shit! Okay, I'm out!
45. There's 50. Oh, I got a 50.
I got a reading here. Oh, shit! Okay, I'm out!
There's 50. Oh, I got a 50.
I got a reading here. Oh, shit! Okay, I'm out!
Oh, I got a 50.
I got a reading here. Oh, shit! Okay, I'm out!
Now 2 very unexplainable things happened while the duo were in the attic together. First of all, a voice clearly echoes the words, "Come outside," which was very confusing in its own right. Surely the ghost was inside the attic, not outside, so it doesn't make any sense why it would use this choice of words. Secondly, the chair moved by its own accord at the same moment that the heat sensor started going off. The fact that these 2 events lined up so perfectly made it impossible for the father and son to not believe that a ghost was up there. After this night, they mutually agreed to just go back to their old lives of not caring about the attic, but it was too late. They had given the ghost attention, and now they need to deal with it for the rest of their lives. This woman was in the kitchen preparing to make some dinner for her husband once he arrived back home. However, someone else was in the room with her and it didn't share the same plans. The video was uploaded to the channel Smug Puppy, and it's important to note that the particular house they were staying in had never ever been home to any paranormal activity before. As they say though, there's always a first.
way off, but they're held on by hooks. What the fuck? Is there anything else? What the fuck? Oh my god. What? This light's just gone off. Oh my god, I'm shaking. Oh my god! What the fuck? There's nothing in here. See? Oh my god. Oh no, I'm getting out of here.
The blinds, which were very securely hooked in, somehow collapsed by themselves. A key fact in this situation is that there was no wind on this date, making it impossible for that to be the cause, leaving one other possible answer. The paranormal house had entered Smug Puppy's household. As if messing with 2 pairs of blinds wasn't enough, the spirit also launched tons of deodorant cans at the woman once she entered the bathroom, which was both a dangerous and an annoying act. But despite the severity of this, it wasn't yet finished with its act. For the next few days, the family went ghostless and probably lived one of the most boring but peaceful periods of their life. They became settled again and deemed the prior night as a one-off situation. Little did they know, though, that it was far from that. The next piece of footage was caught at around 12 a.m., just before the couple were about to go to sleep. This time it was captured from the husband's perspective, and it led to something at a much worse scale.
Bang the bloody door. The hell is that? The hell is that? Oh my god, hold up one sec. Oh. Kaylee?
Yeah?
Grab your phone and film and go to the back bedroom. I'm pretty sure someone's just climbed on the roof.
On the roof? Okay, give me...
After hearing a repetitive knocking sound on the door, the man did what any person would do and went to answer it for whoever was on the other side. However, to his dismay, he didn't see anyone at first glance, but what he did see was someone or something climbing onto the roof. This was a very strange sight, but he dismissed it as being a dumb kid ding-dong ditching and asked his wife to check the roof to tell the kid to get down for their own safety. After his wife checked, though, I bet she will never listen to the man ever again.
Oh my god! What is that?
At first, the figure just looks like a faceless ball, almost like a lump of mold, but once put into slow motion, what this actually was becomes very clear. It appeared to be the apparition of a ghost and didn't exactly look like a pleasant one. It had dark yellow eyes, slit like a snake, and skin more dull than the weather in Britain. It was a sight that no one would want to come across, and it still scars the couple to this day. YouTube is a place where tons of people from many different backgrounds can have a place to share their views online, and this is a very underrated power. It means that literally anyone can post literally anything for people to see, but this is besides the point. You see, while a lot of YouTube is full of positive creators trying to push a good message, the platform has a dark side specifically for paranormal activity. The upcoming video was posted earlier this month by a channel called Ghost Club Paranormal, and they are known for exploring places known for poltergeist activity. In this specific piece of content, they were visiting the Madison Seminary, known for being a place of grieving during the Civil War, hosting many self-deletes. They caught quite a few strange sightings in this place, and I just want to highlight a few of the most prominent. This first piece of footage came in the basement of the Civil War building, and was very odd, to say the least. An important note to make is that the man showcased here claimed to have not had any marks previous to this search, and didn't feel anything that could have caused it.
Crazy. All right, well, they're gonna lead it tonight.
Follow home.
Oh.
And the woman used to
Wait!
live there.
That was their home, yeah, that was the Women's Relief Corps home.
Yo.
There's Sarah's room.
You're super red.
What? Am I gonna die?
Wait,
What?
come on.
Am I gonna die?
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he's super red.
I feel fine.
Look at that.
Oh, something just came through.
Hey. Oh, it's a pain.
Oh, what the? It almost looks like a thumb. That's weird. What? Yeah. It's a weird spot too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't even feel anything. Like it doesn't feel like anything right now.
No, that's weird.
I guess we'll see if it does start to feel like something.
Turn around again.
So it's burning or something?
I mean, it's so red.
I don't know, it doesn't feel like anything. It's weird.
Obviously, the group were very creeped out by this because it's very unusual that marks like this go unnoticed by the victim. It was also very unusual for a spirit to actually go as far as inflicting physical harm, so it became clear that wherever was haunting this place was most definitely dangerous and evil. However, despite having a sign of its presence, the group still hadn't captured an apparition, which is where the real YouTube money comes from. Little did they know that seeing one of these would come very soon, though.
Did you fucking hear that? Yes,
That was a voice,
dude.
100%.
That was like it was so breathy.
Yeah.
Like,
It was 100%. There's like a footstep or something over there too.
charge.
Gonna run at us?
Yo. No, nobody's charging anyone.
Dang, I'm about to run at that. I'm angry right now. I don't know why I'm so angry.
Yeah, it was like a male voice down there. It was like 2 or 3 words.
Doctor! Doctor!
It said doctor.
It just said doctor.
Right after we heard a male voice, it said doctor. Yeah.
After the device that picks up ghost noises said doctor, a shadow figure glided across the room into a door before instantly disappearing. The backstory behind this shadow figure was that the room where the spirit was seen was the room where the angry spirit of a doctor usually appeared. The doctor ghost worked night and day to try and keep the families in the hospital mentally and physically healthy, and obviously failed from time to time. They vowed before death that they would always haunt the place, and the vow hasn't been broken since. On October the 7th of 2020, a man was doing his regular workout when what he called the Thing made another appearance, except this time his nanny cam captured it. Over the last few weeks, the man's apartment had been doing some very strange things, and it just felt out of the ordinary in general. Objects were known to move by their own accord, noises would be heard at night, and the place was often cold, even on the warmest of days, all telltale signs of a poltergeist. This is exactly why he set up the camera in the first place.
Hello?
Strangely, both a toy pumpkin and an ornament on the shelf fell to the ground without any visible force making it happen. It's important to be aware that the ornament was made of a heavy material and would never be pushed over by something as weak as the wind. This must have been a spirit. The man decided that now he had the evidence, he would be able to show his landlord and hopefully lower the rent. And he did succeed. His rent was dropped by $100 because nobody else would move in if he left, so at the end of the day, the resident won from the situation. I guess ghosts aren't always bad. Playgrounds are usually associated with life and adventure, and would be the last thing that someone would associate with the paranormal world. However, stereotypes are broken every day, and the video you're about to see is a big example of this. The playground in the video is a very old one, and was abandoned 5 years before these two young adults decided to visit it and mess around. It was very late, probably around midnight when they arrived, and they thought it would be funny to try and squeeze through the pipes like they were children all over again. They wouldn't have laughed if they knew someone else would be playing with them though.
I went to the left. Okay, I'm gonna go to the right. Okay, this is my POV. Enjoy. This is what we have to get up to. This is really hard. I feel too big to do this. Do you feel out of breath as I am? Yeah. Wait, where'd you go, left or right? I went left. Which way do I go? I feel like I'm in Alice in Wonderland. Okay, she went that way. Freaky. Yours is brighter, mine's all dark. Okay. You guys, I can't do this. I feel like I keep bonking my head too. That's crazy. There's like actually down here. This is literally for human hamsters. Oh my god, someone bashed in this window. I feel like this is plastic. Some 12-year-old boy got pissed off when his mom said that he couldn't go out of it. Okay, this is where I am. This is when I climbed. This is where I'm going. Okay, where are you? It shocked me, I knew it. It shocked me 3 times. Okay, where'd you go? What? Okay. We're in an abandoned playground. No word wasn't coming out. Where did we start? Did we start here?
If you listen very carefully, it's very clear that the voice of a child can be heard. Most children would be asleep at this time, and it is highly unlikely that one of such a young age could sneak into an indoor playground, so it must have been a poltergeist of some sort. Fortunately though, the girls weren't fazed, and claimed that all it wanted to do was play with them, so all was okay. A few years back, a full family were brutally murdered in their formerly safe home, and they happened to be the neighbors of the people in the following video. It was a normal Wednesday, and all of the kids had just arrived home from school when something very creepy decided to greet them upon arrival. It was so spooky that it gave the kids nightmares, and no one in the house could explain a logical answer to what caused it. Take a look.
You see the towel moving over? Yeah, no thanks. That's creepy as fuck. That was force. That was con fuerzas. I need to find a new house, bro. I need to find a home. Oh my god. Bro. Jessica. Are you sure Jose's not awake? No. Are you sure?
Without anyone triggering it to do so on the other side, the door started slowly swinging before coming to a complete close. Now this obviously scared them all to a big extent, but if they knew what was next, they would have been completely unfazed.
You guys, my mom just blessed the whole area right here, and that light won't shut off. And it's like really fucking cold in this part of the house. Freezing. But over here it's not. And when she goes over there, she gets damn chills.
Somehow, the area where the poltergeist activity was taking place was extremely cold, whereas the room right next to the back door was warm. Spirits are known to give off a chilly feeling when they are around, which is the perfect explanation to this, and the family never updated us again.